Alex, we've stopped our witty banter off the top. Now we're just like, we just do a show.
Have we? I feel like every week you have some bullshit for this part right now.
That was it. That was my bullshit. Hello and welcome to Deep Cuts the Game, the movie trivia podcast where I give my three contestants three different movies and they try to come up with the most random, obscure, or minor actors they can think of. The deeper the cut, the more points they get. I'm your host, Jeff Penn, and with me as always, the guy who, if he was an 80s TV show, would be Misfits of Science. Welcome to the show, Alex. You're looking at me like, what's Misfits of Science?
That is the face I'm making. I was hoping you were going to say Magnum PI, because that's right.
No, maybe Manimal, but
Didn't Meatloaf write the theme song for that? Manimal. Rawr. Isn't that... Didn't he... I feel like at a concert he made that joke. Whether it's a joke or he actually wrote it?
No.
I don't know. Seems like it's a banger.
I'd have to look it up. But Misfits of Science starred Courtney Cox. Right
Really?
after she'd done the Bruce Springsteen video for a little bit. She did the show with the tall guy who was the Predator. I can't think of his name. Kevin something. Who... Yeah, he was also Harry and the Hendersons. And I can't remember what the show was about, but I just remember as like an 8-year-old kid being very excited that Courtney Cox was going to be in something.
Was he a monster in it?
No, they were all just people, and they had somehow been given some sort of superpower. I don't know. And like his was probably had nothing to do with being tall. It was probably like, he's super smart now. And it's like, oh, what a wasted opportunity. How are you?
I'm good. I was like, I've been organizing my video collection because as we talked about many times, I've moved, so I'm trying to get things sorted. And I'd mentioned offhandedly to my partner because she was teaching some kids various songs from Anastasia because that movie's awesome and the soundtrack is amazing. And I'm like, you should make them all watch Bartok the Magnificent. She's like, what in the hell is that? Which I also expect anyone listening to be like, what the hell is Bartok the Magnificent? That is the direct-to-video sequel of Anastasia, with Hank Azaria reprising his role as the lead of the Bat, and Kelsey Grammer in a different role, even though he is in Anastasia. But
was he the villain in Anastasia?
He's like the sidekick of John Cusack's character.
You love that movie.
It's a great movie. Man, anyway, the cast is crazy, but that's not the point. What I want to talk about was, I feel like that's something we've lost only in the last like 5 years, maybe 10 years, but like 80s, 90s, early aughts. It seems like all the time there would be direct-to-video sequels to movies that did okay theatrically, but not good enough, like a Tremors, which I just watched Tremors 2 for the first time, and it's fine.
All the like the Doom movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, or like I think Mimic had a couple sequels, and I know Species did, and I don't know if any of those were theatrical or just direct to video.
Like the Leprechaun franchise, like I'm sure by the end a lot of those were just straight to DVD.
And I feel like that's like, we obviously, replacing the direct to video movie, like those two, or the sketch artist ones we watched with Jeff Fahey. Speaking of Courtney Cox, who's in the second one.
Oh yeah, those were good.
Those were good, but I don't think those count in this conversation because they're direct-to-video movies that are like decently solid. But that weird, I want to know what the alchemy of it is. Like New Line Cinema seemed to do a ton of them, but like how well did a movie have to do that they're like, okay, we're gonna spend money on a sequel, but it like half the cast won't be in it. We're going to get like one tertiary supporting character. We'll recast the lead. It's going direct to video, and the soundtrack's all going to be canned music that sucks.
Yeah, there must have been some metric where they were like, all right, it did this good, which means we know these. If we can get 40% of the audience to buy this or, watch it on, whatever, the pay-per-view back in the day was kind of thing. Can we trick them into thinking Sharon Stone's in this movie?
Yeah, or like American Psycho 2 with Mila Kunis. Like, that had to be direct-to-video, right? There's no way that came out.
I think they wanted to get it in the theater so they could give it an Oscar push, Alex.
Yep, you're right. That must have been what happened, Jeff. But anyway, I feel like that's something I miss. Like, not that any of them were winners, although Disney did kind of like run away with it in the 90s.
With all their Aladdin and stuff like that.
Yeah, and like the Little Mermaid trilogy and like the Lion King sequels. And like, as a kid, some of those were pretty good. Like the third Aladdin that brings back Robin Williams is a genuinely solid movie. And I think Jonathan Rhys-Davies is in it. But for the most part, outside of Disney stuff, it's all terrible. It's all terrible, but it's super fun.
I love that your cat
Oh, she's been so annoying today, man.
touches your shoulder to get your attention to like pet her more.
She is polite. She is
Yeah,
polite
she's
about
like,
it.
hey, keep it up. Like, stop again. Stop petting her. I
Okay,
just want to see what happens.
and then we'll wait. And it was off camera, but she did it again.
She did it. She
Yeah,
touched your
there
arm.
you
I
go.
saw. Oh, there you go.
go.
All right, perfect. I'm gonna get a screen grab of that and post it because people need to know, Alex. Alex, before I bring in our two guests, what year were you born?
89.
That's perfect. It's perfect, Alex. Because tonight, on today's episode of Deep Cuts the Game, I'm excited to welcome two incredibly talented brothers who are making waves in the Canadian independent film scene. Matthew and Adam Lupis are the creative minds behind All Is Fine in '89, a nostalgic coming-of-age film set against the backdrop of November 9th, 1989, the day the Berlin Wall fell. Drawing inspiration from classic '80s Brat Pack films, this is one that is right up my alley because I would have been 13 when this movie took place. So it's kind of like Dazed and Confused took place, I think, the day after I was born. Like, I think it's May 31st, 1976. So I don't remember anything from Dazed and Confused. Freaks and Geeks, I would have been like 5 when that took place. But this movie takes place when I'm like 13, so I'm very excited to see it. Matthew, Adam, I'm sorry, I kept talking after I'd introduced you. Please come in and join us.
How's it going, guys? Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, we're very excited to have you. I kept seeing your trailer pop up on Instagram, and
nice.
I kind of ignored. Yeah, I kept kind of like, all right, what's this? And then finally, I watched it. I was like, oh shit! Like you got me right from the beginning with the song that you used, the
Obsession. Yeah.
Obsession. Which, if you were a kid of my age, growing up in Canada in the late '80s, early '90s, it was like the theme song for fashion television.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, Jeff, did you love fashion television? I'm like, I liked seeing boobs once in a while. So I did like fashion television.
Especially at 13, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was like, oh, this was.
Now I'm jealous. I was born 1999. Yeah. What the hell, guys?
Dude, you had the internet. You didn't need to like sit there and watch an hour-long, fashion show for the potential of like a side boob glimpse or something.
Yeah,
well, welcome to the show. So, okay, so let me get this straight. So, Matt, did you write and direct this?
Yeah, so I wrote and directed it. Adam starred in it, and we both produced it.
Okay, and so Adam, we talked a little bit before we started. You're 20. You were born in '99. You said so. You're 26, but you're playing a high school senior in this one. I love that. This is very Beverly Hills 90210. Where a 30-year-old is playing, a 20-year-old. But at least you're within kind of.
You know what's funny about that? And it's at least it's not like in Greece where there was that one actor who looked 50 that was playing a high schooler. That would have been really bad.
It might have been. The woman. I can't. What was
Olivia Newton-John?
Well, there's Olivia Newton-John, and then there's is it Rizzo, like with the pink ladies, who's and she's like 35,
the one who gets into trouble.
Yes, and then I think it's Jeff Conway is also like well into his 30s, and even Travolta at that point is like probably close to 30.
Yeah,
if not older. So I haven't seen the movie yet. I've seen the trailer. The trailer's great. I don't know who cut the trailer for you guys. Did you do it yourselves?
We didn't. We actually outsourced that. A woman in California did it. She was awesome. She actually cut it in a few days. And we were like picking our brain. We tried to cut a trailer. It's a lot harder. It's probably harder to cut a trailer than the actual movie itself.
And especially when you're very attached to it, right? Like it's probably tough to like, oh, we got to have this line. We got to have this. It's like, not everything can make it into the trailer.
Absolutely. And our film too, it kind of shifts tones a little bit, more so gradually, I would say. So we had to kind of find the right balance of, is this a fun 80s movie, kind of like a John Hughes, Dazed and Confused kind of vibe, or does it go, a little darker? So we had to kind of, balance that out a little bit. That was
also
the biggest challenge.
To add on to that, it was also like me and Matt also looked at other trailers that we liked. And we also thought about trailers that we don't like and say, okay, like how can we prevent that? Like the last thing we wanted to do was give too much away. And obviously with a trailer, since it's so short, you have to remember like whatever people are gonna see, that's what they think they're gonna get, right? So it's important we kind of almost tell its own narrative in the trailer itself. So I think that was also really important for us to do too.
Well, I think you nailed it because like you said, it starts off as a very like 80s fun. There's a party, you got wacky teachers, you got different
Mhm.
types of students. And then, like you said, there is a bit of shift in the trailer, which may or may not. It gave me enough that I was like, this could just be a movie about like a high school field party, and I'm on board for that. It could also be a movie about a high school field party with a dramatic twist somewhere in it,
Mhm.
and I'm on board for that too.
Perfect.
So it did enough that I was like, I don't know exactly where this is going, but I'm on board. And
Yeah.
you didn't give anything away. At least I don't think you did. I'm gonna play. I'm just so the people who haven't seen the trailer yet, I'm gonna play a couple clips from it.
Awesome.
So we'll start you off. This is kind of like your random like 80s high school.
You boys hear the news today?
The new Bon Jovi music video?
No, not that. Today the Berlin Wall came down.
Yeah, so?
Don't you ever watch the news, Cole?
I got better things to do than watch the news, you geek.
So boom, you got that one. It's just kind of like, hey, it's 80s, blah blah blah. And then there's this little bit here.
Tragedy struck last night just blocks away from this very high school. Police are informing us that it does involve Romano High students.
So, do you want to make out?
Yeah.
So yeah, you heard a little bit of the song there. I don't think we'll get in trouble for that. But yeah, there's a little bit of everything. And like I said, I'm on board whichever direction it ends up going.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate that. It goes in a few different directions. Like our main thing was like you brought up Dazed and Confused, I think before we started recording, but it's a little bit of that. It's a lot of Fast Times, Richmond High, a little bit of Degrassi, some elements there. So like we tried to kind of take from those and get inspired from those, and I don't think there's a lot of that going on these days. That those kind of 80s high school movies, coming of age, those kind of movies. So I think that's what we tried to do here.
Well, I was going to ask you, so Matt, you're born in 89. So, this isn't an era that you really lived through. You kind of got like the tail end of it. So what drew you, the both of you, to this era of, not just film, but of the Berlin Wall and all that. So what drew you to that?
Yeah, well, I've always been a fan of 80s movies since I was a kid. Like I said, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, just like, the John Hughes movies of that time. Adam loves those movies too. So it was always like in the back of our minds, like, if we were ever to kind of, cross this off our bucket list, the fact of making a movie, we would probably kind of go in that direction. And then the whole Berlin Wall thing, I was always interested in that, and how that affected things socially, politically, culturally, and how that kind of shifted from the 80s to the 90s. And there was a big shift there, right? So, yeah, it kind of just came from that kind of interest and that kind of love for that time period. And basically, I just dove into doing the research on it because, like you said, I didn't really live through that time. I was more of like a late 90s, early 2000s kid. So for me, it was about doing a lot of research, trying to be as authentic as possible to that time period. And yeah, just trying to kind of depict it and yeah. And I think we pulled it off, but
I mean, yeah, I think you nailed it with like just a couple of the shirts that the people are wearing in the trailer. I'm like, the green and yellow.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I had that like rugby shirt for sure.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
wanted that shirt kind of thing. My mom's like, you're
we
not
had
getting that.
such
It's
a
too
great
expensive.
team, like in terms of like even the wardrobe team did a phenomenal job. Two ladies, I'll shout them out: Mia Bono and Liz. I can't pronounce the last name properly, but I believe it's Porteous, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
Yes, yeah.
They did a phenomenal job, and honestly, like to do wardrobe for a film like this, like we had a lot of like extras too, and even just like the cast itself, like for example, even just like students in the classroom. It was a lot of work for two people to manage that, and they knocked it out of the park, honestly. And I think that's one of the main things when you're doing an 80s film or even just a period piece in general. The wardrobe, the hair and makeup, which again we had a great team for that as well. Everything has to be on point. Otherwise, people can see right through it and go, "Oh, that's not what it used to look like," or
Yeah.
No, totally. Like, yeah, like I am the first guy to like nitpick little things in movies and TV right
You sure
now.
are, Jeff. You sure are.
Yeah. Like I think even like watching like Stranger Things, and there's one time when like Steve is eating Kentucky Fried Chicken and he says
Yeah.
something like, "Oh, you gotta love that KFC." And I was like, fuck you, Steve. Nobody called it KFC in 1982.
Oh no,
that wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So in terms of also not just the costume, but like the locations and stuff like that.
Oh
I know
yeah.
you shot around like Ontario,
Mhm.
which has to be great because there are parts of Ontario that seem to still kind of be stuck in a time warp where it
Yeah.
is still 1989 there. Did that kind of like lead you to certain places when you were shooting?
Yeah, so we shot I forgot the name. Maybe Adam remembers. Like, I don't want to spoil the movie, but there's a scene at a gas station, and this must be like the last old looking gas station. Like, I haven't seen anything like this in like years, and it looks like it's out of the 70s, let alone the 80s. And I forgot the location off the top of my head, but we went there. It was like more northern Ontario. So we shot a scene there. We shot most of our interior for the high school in King City, at King City High School. They haven't renovated or did anything to the interior, probably from like the 70s as well. So we got lucky with that. So a lot of the hallways, the lockers, the classrooms, they all got that old look to them, which is really nice. We actually got lucky with some of the interior for the houses. For example, a buddy of mine owns a house. He was about to lease it. And I'm like, and it's an older style. It's got like wallpaper, the kitchen's from the 70s, 80s. I'm like, you know what? I go, I'm filming a movie next month. I go, can I just borrow this for a month? I'll pay you the rent for the month. So we did that. Yeah, we also got a couple of vintage cars, time appropriate cars from the 80s. We worked with a few people on that. So yeah, like location was huge, right? And then with the field party, we had a really nice spot. We did that up a little bit with the American flags and stuff like that because the movie takes place in New Jersey.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it was a challenge, but it was fun. I think that was it was a big process, but it was a fun process.
And also,
to be a part
we
of.
got really lucky too with the weather. I mean, there was one night. So when we were doing the field party days, our biggest worry was like if it rains, we're screwed, right? Like because at the end of the day, we had so many people involved, and we were worried that if we had to reschedule days in advance, what if people weren't available? What if who knows, right? And then everything would just get delayed, and then it would just I don't know. We would just be in a tough spot. So one of the days it rained, but then I think the next day I forgot how exactly it happened, but we got lucky that everything kind of worked out with the weather by the end.
Yeah.
All right. So last question for you. You guys are obviously big fans of 80s movies and stuff like that. So if you could go back in time and remake or maybe even just work on any 80s film, which one would it be?
Ooh. So wait, you mean like to go back to remake it as in?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean you could go back and like there's maybe an 80s film that you like it, but it just didn't quite work the way that, or you could see taking it another direction. Like to be honest, to prep for this episode, I watched a few 80s movies and I was like, you know what? I think I could do one thing and it would like maybe make this movie 10% better. But is there a movie that you're kind of like, I love that movie. I wish I could have worked on
That's
that?
a good question. To be honest with you, like I'm probably gonna get hate for this, but like I would say Breakfast Club. Like to be honest with you, like I love that movie, but
I mean it's problematic.
Yeah,
We've talked about it before. That movie's got issues. Just it's a tough one to get your kids to watch.
I think
now.
it's the dialogue, and I think it's just something even like the dance scenes. Like, I don't know. Maybe again, I know the '80s movies are known for having that like that magic and that a little bit of that corniness. That's what gives it that whole appeal in a way. But then you watch a movie like Ferris Bueller, and it's like it doesn't really have that like corniness to it. Really, I mean, like I feel like it holds up better.
And even if it does, like when he sings at the parade, it's
earned. It's an earned scene for sure.
Yeah, it's much more believable than them getting high and all dancing together in the
Yeah,
library.
I think that's my problem
and all
with
their
it,
various and it's just like yeah, like I get awkward watching that scene.
Wow, Jeff, you just added yourself as somebody who was never in theater in high school. So
Same here.
I guess not.
Yeah, I'd probably say I would say probably St. Elmo's Fire, and the only reason I say that is because it had such a strong cast, but the movie itself, I don't know, it's just one of those movies where a bit forgettable. Didn't really leave an impact. So I think with that kind of cast, there was probably a lot more potential there. But yeah, I think that would be the one.
No, I hear you. I'm totally on board with both
Alex,
of those.
Jess, on the topic of like St. Elmo's Fire and Breakfast Club, I want to throw a question at you guys. because there's an actor that like was such a promising actor too, and did a very good job in both of those movies. Judd Nelson, which we don't even see much anymore. But like, I'm just curious, like your thoughts on that, like, because I always like looked at him like he could have been in so many movies. Like, I don't know. I just want to get your opinion on
I mean, because what he do like in the '90s, he was
New Jack
in
City, I think it was.
New Jack
no,
City.
but then he did TV, right? Didn't he jump into the Brooke Shields
I don't
sitcom?
On Bridges,
What
was it
was-
Nash Bridges?
No. She had a sitcom after she was on Friends. She got her own sitcom.
Oh yeah,
And yeah, because they talk about it in her documentary on Disney called something Baby. I can't remember what it's called, Alex.
Maybe I didn't watch it.
I think it's called Pretty Baby. It's a 2-part documentary about Brooke Shields, and she did a sitcom in the '90s. And I'm confusing it with every other female. Suddenly Susan.
That's what it is.
If I'm not mistaken, he's like second build in that show, Alex. Am I right?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And then he did like some cop shows and stuff like that and cop movies. But yeah, I don't know. I wonder, I don't know anything about it, but I wonder if he's just difficult to work with.
I think back then too, getting into sitcoms on, I think
and there's that whole documentary that not Estevez, but Andrew McCarthy does.
The Brat Pack.
Brats, where they were all kind of got blacklisted.
Yeah, I heard about that.
We don't want to work with any of these people anymore. But
I haven't watched it. I know he was upset, not upset, but kind of looking back on how they were labeled, the Brat Pack and how that impacted his career. But I don't know. Looking back
honestly,
at
it might be one of those things like we could go look at Judd. Like I'll look him up right now.
Well, he did a movie. He did a movie a couple years ago called "Girl in the Basement." I actually watched it. I really liked it, but it wasn't like a big box office hit. Or
I mean, he's still working. Like he's still acting, just not in anything we want to watch.
Yeah, I think that's the problem.
It's more obscure.
Yeah. It's always the worst when it's like you're like, oh man, this person dropped off the face of the earth, and then you look them up and it's like, and you see they're like, oh, they've done a bunch of things that wasn't in my wheelhouse. And the only time that's been really bad is I was at a screening at TIFF of Mom and Dad, the Nicolas Cage Selma Blair movie, and some dope in the audience had a question, and he's like, question for Selma Blair. Where have you been? Like, I haven't seen you and stuff in for so long, and it's great that you're back in this movie. And then she just had to like list her filmography of the last 10 years that this fucking idiot just simply hadn't seen.
Yeah.
And it was a long list of stuff, and it really shut the room down.
Oh yeah. That happens a lot. And yeah, probably Judd Nelson probably falls into that category too. So
for sure.
Yeah. All right. So we've got, I think, one of the most fun games of Deep Cuts lined up for tonight. So the first thing we got to do, though, is the three of you have to try to guess what movie am I thinking of. And I will give you a hint. Since this is a very 80s themed episode, it is an 80s movie.
Oh.
Even an 80s high school movie. We'll say that. So, Alex, why don't you show these two new guys how it's done? What movie am I thinking of?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, I was going to say Die Hard, but then you said it's high school. So 16 Candles.
No.
High school.
All right. Matt, since you're the elder of the two, what movie am I thinking of?
I'm going to say Ferris Bueller's. Yeah.
I think Ferris Bueller's been a movie we've used on the game, but it's never been the what movie am I thinking of? All right, Adam.
You know what? I'm gonna go Heathers.
Ooh, that's a great guess. That's a great
that was a good
movie.
Know
what? None of you were right because nobody ever is. But I wonder if Adam and Matt are familiar with this one. Alex, I know I always try to pitch it to you, and I don't think you've seen it, but it's one of my favorite 80s movies, 3 O'Clock High.
Oh, you fucking love it.
I've never even heard of that movie.
3 o'clock.
3 O'Clock High.
Here we
stars Casey Zamasco, who was in like Stand By Me and the Young Guns movies. And he's just supposed to be writing a story about like this new kid in school who turns out like he's the big bully. He's the guy from Kindergarten Cop. He's the bad guy from Kindergarten Cop. And our friend Craig Smeaton met him once in like Ireland. Anyway, the guy's like, I'm not gonna, he's like, he touches him on the shoulder. He's like, no problem, buddy. I won't do the story. And the guy's like, I don't like to be touched. We're fighting at 3 o'clock. So the rest of the movie is just him trying to get out of the fight.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Hiring like a football player to beat the guy up for him and like trying to get detention and anything he can do to not get in this fight.
I've
really
never,
not too.
yeah, I've never heard of it. We did our research too, but yeah, I've never heard of it.
Oh, it's great. It's and then
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeardley Smith, the voice of Lisa Simpson, is in it as she walks by camera, and you hear her voice just go like, "I hear he's a big guy," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's Lisa Simpson." And then the school security guard is, I can't remember his name, but he is Skinner from the X-Files, Alex.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, nobody knows his name. I don't even think he has one.
He does. He's got a name.
No.
Was this a direct-to-video?
No. This movie was good, and but it was funny. It was directed by a guy who did he was a music video director.
Okay.
And he was he did a bunch of big time
All
videos.
right,
If it finds 3 o'clock high, it's definitely worth watching.
Yeah.
All right. So because it's kind of a darker comedy, Adam, I'm gonna let you. Adam, you won in my mind. You're the closest. So would you like to go first, second, or third?
Let's go. I'll go first.
All right. Nice. Matt, I'm gonna go with you. Do you want to go second or third?
I'll go second.
All right, Alex, you get your third spot. Great. All right. So here's the 3 movies for tonight's game of Deep Cuts. Starting in 1989. Say Anything.
Oh, John Cusack, right? Oh,
don't say it.
There you go.
But
Don't
we
say
all
anything
know
yet,
who the
Adam.
lead
Hold
is.
on
It's
to those.
fine. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I mean, he's not worth a ton of points. Don't say anything yet, though. Yes, it's that one, Adam. Second of all, we've mentioned it a few times tonight, from 1982, Fast Times at Ridgemount High.
All right.
And then lastly, maybe the least known of the 3 movies tonight, but honestly, my favorite of the 3, from 1985, Better Off Dead.
Ooh, I haven't seen that movie.
It's Better Off Dead.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, wow. That's going to suck. So I'll tell you this. There are 5 actors or actresses that appear in more than one of these films. If you say their name or describe them to me or tell me something else that they're in, you will get the points for every movie that they are in.
Okay.
So while you're writing down some names and trying to think of your deepest cuts, let's hear a word from our sponsors. Movie buffs and collectors, this one's for you. MoviePosters.com offers an incredible selection of posters for every taste, from obscure indies to your blockbuster favorites.
Want a poster for The Longest Yard, the good one, or the Adam Sandler one?
They've got both.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka, or just Wonka?
They have all options in a variety of sizes.
Go to MoviePosters.com and use the promo code DeepCuts15 to get 15% off your next order.
We're back. So, Adam, to answer your question during the commercial break there, you can choose from any movie you want. You can bounce back and forth. If you know one movie really well, you can just stick to that. But if something gets jogged in your brain and you remember something from the other movie, feel free to chime in with that. And the way we go is, Adam, you will go first, Matt will go second, Alex will go third, and then Alex will go again, and then we'll go back up to Matt and Adam. So you have a bit of time to think about your second deep cut. But you always want to start with your best one first. Adam, what's your biggest and deepest deep cut?
I'm gonna go with Fast Times first. Okay. And I'm gonna go. And many people may not know this, but Nicolas Cage.
God damn it! This is like the only one I had.
Nicolas Cage.
Damn, that's
Nicolas Cage.
Coppola.
I literally read an article
right.
about that last week because it was on my Instagram feed. And I read about it. Yeah, he was.
Is he Coppola or Cage?
He's Coppola in that movie.
Oh,
he hadn't changed his name yet.
Oh, geez.
Now, I'm not going to ask you to know what his name is, because they never give his name. He's literally just credited as
French fry guy.
Brad's Blood or something.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
So he's worth 12 points because he is kind of a famous cameo, but on a scale of 20, that's pretty good, Adam. Well done.
Thanks.
Matt, what do you got for your first deep cut?
I'm gonna go with Fast Times as well. And probably my favorite character from the movie, played by Robert Romanus, who plays Damone.
Mike Damone, yes.
Yep, he's the quintessential cool guy.
Oh my gosh. Is there a more dislikable character in any 80s film? Like, I would put him up there next to James Spader in Pretty in Pink, like as just being the most vile kind of person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, Robert Romanus as Mike Damone. The only other thing I could really find that he was in was the movie Runaways, Alex. He's a guitar teacher in Runaways.
Oh, really?
The Kristen Stewart, is it Fanning?
Well, his brother actually was in Mean Streets and Sopranos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who?
Mean Streets and
Who's
Sopranos,
that?
yeah.
So he's worth 10 points. While not as big a known actor as Nick Cage, he has got a very big part in that film. So he's worth 10.
Awesome.
Alex, what is your first and your second deep cut now that Nicolas Cage / Coppola is off the board?
Well, everybody brace yourselves to be blown away. Say anything. Joan Cusack in that one?
She is. She plays his sister.
Great.
She is uncredited, but has a lot of screen time for some reason.
Really?
So yeah, she plays his sister because that's
good
usually
casting.
what those
Fair
good
enough.
casting.
Yep.
She's worth 6 points, Alex. 6 points.
Great.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you guys just one thing I saw about Say Anything. Do you know who turned down the lead role in Say Anything?
No, I think
Robert Downey Jr.
Really?
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. turned it down, and then they also looked at two people that would have been terrible. One was Christian Slater.
Yeah, he did a lot of
would have been terrible in that part, and even worse, Kirk Cameron.
Oh wow!
From Growing, which would have been like, I know he was kind of like teen heartthrob kind of thing, but he would have been horrific in that.
Wow.
Role.
Yeah.
And then Jennifer Connelly was up for the female lead, and the dad was going to be potentially played by Richard Dreyfuss.
Oh wow!
Actually, he would have been okay. I think probably.
I think he would have been okay. Yes, but I'm not going to say anything about the lead. But yes, all right, Alex, you get your second deep cut.
Speaking of the dad, John Mahoney.
John Mahoney
for what, 3 points? Because he's in that movie a fair amount. If I remember correctly.
He's
so much advice.
He's 4 points, Alex.
Great.
He's one of those guys that I didn't know who he was until he was in that movie, but he was already 48 years old.
I didn't know who he was until Frasier.
Sure, fair enough. You weren't born, but it's one of those things. Like you look at him, and it's like I think he's in like Moonstruck in like '87, but like didn't really act before like the early '80s. So I don't know what he was doing. So all right, Alex, you're taking some easy ones off the board. That's okay. Matt, we're back to you with your second deep cut. What do you got?
All right, we're gonna stay with Jeff's family here, and we're gonna go with Sean Penn.
Okay, and what is his name in the film?
Spicoli.
Spicoli, yeah. So I'm going to give you the additional 1 bonus point for that to go on top of the 1 point that you got for Sean Penn. As kind of the he's on the cover of the film, so a 1 + 1 there for Sean Penn.
Cool.
All right, Adam, you got your second and your third. You're doing well. You're in the lead. What is your second, and your third deep cuts?
Wait, sorry. So 3 more names?
So you get 2 in a row now. You get your second, and then your third, and then we go back down to Matt and Adam.
So I have a clever one, and the only reason why I know this is because I'm not sure if you guys know I have my own podcast as well. So I'm always like trying to find actors to come on my podcast. And this guy was in both movies. Say Anything and Fast Times. If I say his name, does that count as 2 points? Or
yeah, you get it, man. I think I know where you're going, but go for it.
Eric Stoltz.
Oh yeah,
Eric Stoltz. Is the guy throwing the party?
I don't know his name. I don't know his character names. I think in Fast Times he was just like a stoner guy.
Yeah.
He's literally he's listed as Stoner Bud.
Oh, so does that count then? Does that count as a point?
I'm going to give you an extra 1 point for Stoner Bud. So he is worth 8 points for Fast Times.
Oh shoot.
And he's worth 7 points for Say Anything.
And fun fact, I mean, for your audience listening, I'm sure you guys probably definitely talked about this. Eric Stoltz was the original Marty McFly.
He is. And I think I almost did Back to the Future in this one. I had the whole list done, and then I realized, Alex, we did Back to the Future back in July.
We did, because I got an Eric Stoltz points on
it. Because he is still visible in some of the scenes.
Yeah. Oh, is he?
They didn't reshoot the wides in some.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So did they film quite a bit with him in it?
They did, yeah.
Quite a bit, I think. And they're just like, this is.
They were like
working.
Almost at least halfway, if not like 2/3 through that movie.
Do you know who was the original Jennifer Parker?
No, I don't.
Melora Hardin.
Oh, from The Office.
Yep.
Right? Am I thinking of the right person?
Yep.
Like Michael, the boss, right? Jan Levinston.
Yeah. She was original cast, yeah. And then they had and then right when Eric got replaced with Michael J. Fox, she had to get replaced because she was too tall. it didn't look right.
Well, it's funny because then don't they replace in the second movie? It's not
even Claudia.
Girl.
Yeah, it's not her. I think her mom was sick or something like that, like with cancer. So I think couldn't do. Yeah, but crazy. Yeah.
All right, Adam, you're doing great. What is your third deep cut?
Oh shit. I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna say the character. No, I think his first name's Brian. Okay, it's from Fast Times. It's Mark Ratner, but his first name's Brian.
I get it. You got Brian, so I'm going to give
Oh,
it to you.
it is
in the
Brian?
fact,
Okay, I don't know his last
it's Brian
name.
Backer.
Okay,
And he
yeah.
plays Mark Ratner, and he was in the Police Academy movies, a couple of them anyway, and in the Jason Biggs movie Loser.
Oh.
Yeah, I like that movie. Yeah.
So Brian Backer for 10 points, because I figured who's going to know who Brian Backer is, but Adam does. So well done, well remembered. Matt, we're back to you with your third deep cut.
So let's go with another Fast Times. We're picking the easy ones. Let's go Forrest Whitaker.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Well
Yeah,
done.
All right.
Yeah.
Any chance you know what his character name is?
Oh,
Come on, bro. You know, think about what the movie says.
yeah. Well, not even
Gorilla.
Spicoli. Damone. We were talking about his car. It's Jefferson.
What's the first name?
It's
Charles.
Charles
Yeah,
Jefferson. Yeah,
Charles.
that's right.
Car looks terrific.
Because they were playing against Lincoln in the big game. Yes, so Charles.
We watched
Jefferson.
it quite a few times. Actually, we have a shot in our movie. I don't know if you remember where it's a close up of his face on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, we basically did a shot very similar to that.
Where he's staring down the quarterback and he's giving him like the dead eye. Yeah,
exactly right. So yeah.
So 7 points for Forrest Whitaker plus an extra bonus point for getting Charles Jefferson.
Charles
Well done.
Jefferson, yeah.
Alex, let's hear your third deep cut, and then I'll give you a halfway point breakdown.
In Say Anything, John Cusack is in that movie.
Oh my God, Alex! And guess what? He's also the star of Better Off Dead.
Are you serious?
Oh wow!
Yes.
Great.
So you're gonna get 2 points.
Double my
because
points.
he's worth 1 point for each of those movies because
Killing
he is
it.
the star of both movies. But hey, that's well done. Well done, man.
What year was Better Off Dead before Say Anything?
It was 1985, but he's still playing a high school senior 4 years later.
Yeah, wow.
That guy played a high school student for like 10 years.
Great.
I think he had a younger.
I think he's in like that movie
time.
Class with like Rob Lowe and stuff like that from like 1982.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just plays a high school student forever. So well done, Alex. John Cusack for 1 point. So at the halfway point, Alex, you have 12.
Killing it.
Adam, you have 38.
Holy.
And Matt, 20.
Not bad.
Not bad. No, it's respectable. But Adam, you're doing great, man. Keep it up. Alex, what's your fourth deep cut?
I am now just going to start guessing people from the 80s. Is Patrick Dempsey in anything?
No, this is not Can't Buy Me Love, Alex. There is no Patrick Dempsey.
He's not showing up in anything?
Though it is funny, when I finished watching Say Anything on Disney, the next movie that popped up was like, you might also like Can't Buy Me Love.
You do love that movie.
It's okay.
All right.
So no points for Patrick Dempsey. Matt, what is your fourth deep cut?
Okay, I'm thinking it's gotta be one of the teachers. I'm gonna say Mr. Hand. I'm hoping. Okay. I don't know. I don't know the.
He's one of the few people that is actually in the opening credits. Like they actually give his name.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like it's Sean Penn and the girls and the guy, and then at the very end, and this guy is Mr. Hand.
Yeah. Top of my head, I don't remember. I remember reading up that he was a bit of a name. Like they went after him.
Yeah, he was. I'm gonna give you 1 point for knowing that he's Mr. Hand.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna get anything else. His name is Ray Walston.
Okay.
He was in the Robin Williams Popeye movie.
Oh, okay,
he was in The Sting, Alex. And he was in the TV show in the 90s called Picket Fences with I think Tom Skerritt.
Nice.
So Mr. Hand is going to get you 1 point. Adam, you're doing great here. What is your fourth and your fifth deep cut?
For another Fast Times one, but then I got one for Say Anything. I think he's in it, if I'm not mistaken. So for Fast Times, I don't know the actress's name. Was her Linda? No, hold on a sec. The Brad's girlfriend, Linda, right? No, that's not. Yeah, Linda, the girlfriend.
It's
Lisa. Shit.
Lisa is Brad's girlfriend. Can you tell me anything she was in?
Don't tell me. The horror Nightmare on Elm Street.
She is. Yeah, I believe she's Johnny Depp's girlfriend in Nightmare on Elm
She's
Street.
the first.
She's
Yeah,
like the first
she's
one
the one
killed,
from the
if I'm not mistaken.
in the beginning with the his hand comes through the wall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Her name is Amanda
Okay.
Weiss. Her name's Lisa in the film. She's in Better Off Dead as well, though.
Whoa.
As John Cusack's girlfriend, who breaks up with him, much like she broke up with Brad in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, so she can date.
Oh wow!
So she is worth 12 points for Better Off Dead because you fucking guys don't even know what that movie is, and she's worth an additional 10 points for Fast Times at Ridgemont High, so she's worth 22 points.
I know what I'm doing
Nice.
tonight. I'm watching Better Off Dead. That's for sure.
Yeah, you got to find that movie and watch it.
Yeah.
Adam, you've got your 5th deep cut. There's 6 total, but you're running away with it. What is your
Okay, this
fifth
will be known again because, like I said, I have my own podcast. I do research on all people I want to get on. This one actor, I'm probably not gonna get him, but he's amazing in Entourage, and I know he's in this movie because I saw his filmography. I don't know what role he has, if it's big or small, but Jeremy Piven. Insane.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jeremy Piven, and Say Anything. He is just one of Cusack's friends.
I just saw it
He's
was in his filmography.
drunk
I
at the
remember seeing
party.
it,
He's
but I don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think him and Cusack are like friends in real life, or were friends in real life. Let me see Jeremy Piven here for Say Anything for 6 points.
Yeah, he's one of those actors. He was in a lot of stuff that you just never really noticed him until Entourage.
Until Entourage, yeah.
Yeah, even like Old School. I'm like, wow, he was in
He
Old
was
School.
also, he was also in
He's
a
the
thing
dean,
too.
yeah, he's the dean
He
of
played
the
a
school.
doctor. What movie was it?
He was in Seinfeld. He played George Costanza for one episode.
Yeah, he was in the pilot episode of the Seinfeld TV show that they're making. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done. Matt, you have your 5th deep cut.
She might be in multiple. I don't know. Obviously, in Fast Times, Phoebe Cates.
Phoebe Cates. She's not.
Oh, no?
Because she kind of stopped acting after she married Kevin Kline.
Oh, yeah? Wow.
Yeah, she kind of stopped. Like, I don't know. She met him. She auditioned for a role in The Big Chill. She was going to be. I can't remember the actress's name. She has a sister. Alex, have you seen The Big Chill, Alex?
Yeah, but like not for 1,000 years.
It's the girl who was with Kevin Costner, and then he dies, and she still lives at the house. She auditioned for that role, didn't get it, but she met Kevin Kline while filming, like trying to get that part, and then they ended up getting married. And I was thinking about her the other day. Like, I wonder what her career would have been if she had kind of kept acting. Like, would she have been a Jennifer Aniston kind of, could she have been on Friends, or could she have been like Brooke Shields, because she was also a model kind of thing, and maybe she could have been Suddenly Susan kind of thing, but she didn't. So 3 points for Phoebe Cates in that very memorable pool scene that has been ripped off to death. I think even
that's that movie.
Yeah, I think and even
that's
I think
how you know about it.
Yeah, National Lampoon's like Christmas Vacation kind of rips that scene off too.
It does.
He's like he's imagining his pool in the backyard, and like the model gets out of the pool, and she's
that's a great movie too, Christmas Vacation.
Alex Young, you got 12 points, man. You got 2 picks left. What are your 2 final deep cuts?
So once again, I'm going to guess people from the 80s. And I'm literally, because even my brain is blanking on random actors and actresses from the 80s. So I'm just going to do people we discussed. Is Judd Nelson in any of these movies?
No.
Your pause made me really confident.
No, I had to double. I was like, wait. And I was like, no, that's not. So nothing for Judd Nelson. Because it's not, these aren't like Brat Pack movies. Though.
No, but like maybe, I don't know, maybe he's a cameo in something. Maybe he was famous enough to like have a small part. Listen, I don't know, man. I'm grasping at straws here.
What's your final deep cut?
Is Eric Stoltz in any of these movies?
Yeah, remember we talked about him earlier, Alex?
Yeah.
Because you remember Adam, or
yeah. Oh, I thought it was just because we were discussing Back to the Future.
Oh, we're also reaching game?
No, we're not.
We are not. Man, that's even worse. Is what's his name from 2.5 Men? John Cryer.
Oh, it's a good guess. Good guess.
He's not.
Oh my god!
Wow, we've got an all-new, all-time low score, at least for season 2 of the show.
For season 2, yeah.
For season 2,
yeah.
Matt, what is your final deep cut?
I'm gonna go with another teacher. Again, I don't know the actor. I'm gonna say Mr. Vargas.
Okay.
Who the
Could you
hell's
tell me
Mr. Vargas?
anything he was in? He was like the
He's-
really weird like
yeah,
science teacher that takes them
Wait,
to
hold on
like
a
the
second. Wasn't he?
morgue.
Wasn't he like a?
he's got such a
Didn't he play like
unique look.
Frankenstein or something in one other movie? Wasn't he like a? He played like a monster.
Man,
He
Maybe
looks like
that's
he
why
could
I'm
be.
yeah,
confused.
could be.
He's got like in the movie he's
Yes,
got
the
a super
blonde,
hot wife,
right?
and
Yeah.
all the guys are like,
Yeah.
"What?" Blonde wife. I'm gonna give you the 1 point for knowing that he's Mr. Vargas.
Okay.
The actor's name is Vincent Schiavelli.
Mm-hmm.
He was famously in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yes.
wow.
One of the guys.
He played one of the people in the psych ward. Right?
Yep. He was in the. I remember from an episode of the X-Files. As he is a circus freak and has a twin brother that is still attached to him that keeps unattaching and killing
Batman
people.
Returns. Batman Returns.
Yeah, and that's right. Yeah, and
That's where I know
also
him from.
he's also a school teacher in Better Off Dead.
Oh wow.
And I always get the two confused because both movies involve like the lead actor's girlfriend breaking up with them, but in Better Off Dead, the teacher actually starts hitting on her. Like once she breaks up with John Cusack, and he's like, "Hey, do you mind if I get her number from you?" kind of thing.
Well, he's the teacher that does that.
Yeah, he does that in Better Off Dead. Yeah. All right, Adam, wrap it up. This is your final deep cut. What do you got?
All I know is that I don't even know the characters. I mean, he's the pizza guy. The guy who ordered a double sausage. What do you say? The movie's like a double sausage and cheese or something like that. The pizza guy.
Oh yeah.
And then that's Spicoli right over here.
Can you think of anything else he's in?
Honestly, no.
Well, listen, I'm gonna give you 1 point for saying pizza guy. I don't know. I have him written down as being in the movie The Last Boy Scout with Bruce Willis, but I can't remember what his part was in it. And for some reason, in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, he is credited as just his name. He's Taylor Negron, and he's credited as Taylor Negron. I was like, what? Who is he playing himself? And then I forgot he's the pizza guy. He's also in Better Off Dead as the mailman who just brings the kids smutty magazines. So well done. Let me see. Did we miss anything big? Alex, when you said Judd Nelson, for a second, I got confused with Judge Reinhold. Who's in Fast Times? He's in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He's Brad. He's like the main guy.
Of course.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
I think Adam got this.
Anthony Edwards from
Top Gun?
Yep, from Top Gun and from ER, I think was in it. Nancy Wilson, who was married to Cameron Crowe, who wrote Fast Times at Ridgemont High, plays hot blonde in Car. And then lastly, Alex, this is my favorite one, an actress by the name of Pamela Springsteen. She's Bruce Springsteen's little sister.
Oh wow.
But more famously is in Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 as the killer.
Oh my God, as Angela?
As Angela, when they recast Angela for the sequels, I'm sure straight to
video for sure.
video. Yeah. Let's see. Better Off Dead. All right. You got a few crossovers. I would say the big thing we're kind of missing is everyone's least favorite weirdo right now, Dan Schneider, the Nickelodeon guy, plays like kind of a weird, creepy guy in Better Off Dead. So watch that movie and see that it really kind of fits. The villain from Karate Kid 2 is in it. And then if anyone ever saw the movie Porky's, the big fat guy from Porky's is in Better Off Dead, essentially playing the same character. And that's where the claymation burgers come in, Alex. It's weird. Curtis Armstrong from Revenge of the Nerds. And then Elizabeth Daly, who is the voice of
Timmy Turner, no?
Is she Timmy
that's Tara Strong. Yeah. She's Tommy Pickles.
Tommy Pickles in Rugrats, yes. Yeah. And she's from Pee-wee's Big Adventure and Valley Girl and stuff like that. She would have been worth some big points from Say Anything. Lily Taylor, another voice actress, Pamela Adlon, who was the voice of Bobby Hill.
And she's in Better Things, right? Isn't that her show?
She has her own show, Better Things. Has anyone seen Say Anything recently?
No, I haven't.
Clearly not.
There's a guy named Jason Gould, who's at the very beginning when he's got to drive this guy home because he's too drunk and he doesn't remember where he lives. It's this actor named Jason Gould. He is Barbara Streisand's son and Elliot Gould's son, and James Brolin is his stepdad.
Wow.
Let's see. BB Newirth, Alex, another
of course
Frasier tie-in. She's a very small part as a teacher. China Phillips from Wilson Phillips. You guys mentioned Heathers. One of the Heathers, Kim Walker, is in it. She's the blonde Heather. Philip Baker Hall is the IRS agent. And then famous kickboxer Don the Dragon Wilson.
Oh, I should have got that one.
Because John Cusack is really into kickboxing. And lastly, Holly Goodhead from Moonraker plays Ione Skye's mom in Say Anything.
Is Holly Goodhead her real name and she was in a Bond movie?
No, the character in Moonraker is Holly Goodhead.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because I'm like, that is the Bond
they like to
name.
give their like Pussy Galore and all these weird names like that. So she's Holly Goodhead, and her name is Lois Childs. So well done. Alex, we already know where you finished.
First?
Matt, you were at 20 at the halfway point, and you picked up an additional 5, so you're at 25. Adam was just killing it. You were at 38 at the halfway point, and you picked up 29 in the second half. Gives you 67. So you're the big winner. Adam, the big winner's prize is they get to suggest a future guest. That could be someone you know that you think would be really good at this game, or it could just be some celebrity that you think would be fun to talk about, like their past films and stuff like that. Don't worry, we never get them.
Phoebe Cates.
Yeah, let's get Phoebe Cates. I mean, we did get Michael Cudlitz, so that was fun. That was a good one. But yeah, so what would be your pick for a future guest on Deep Cuts the Game?
Ooh, that's a very good one.
It could be someone from any of these 3 movies. Hopefully, they're not deceased at this point, because it's getting a little long in the tooth.
Canceled.
Yes.
You know what? I'm gonna go Sean Penn.
I mean, we got a similar name, and I used to tell people he was my cousin.
Did you really?
I mean, when you're like 10, and they were like, yeah, there's no internet to not prove it. So
when you reach out, I think that's the line you got to use, right?
Yeah.
Long
I think I've actually
Sean, it's
hey,
your cousin.
I have tried to get his brother Michael Penn, who's like the music guy. I've tried to get him on, and he did not get back to me.
You tried working your way to Sean.
Yeah, I was like, Chris isn't around anymore. We'll go to Michael, and then we'll go to Sean.
That's too.
Oh boy.
Well, I just want to. So okay, the movie is All Is Fine in '89. I found it on Instagram. That's where you can see the trailer. The trailer's on YouTube. There's an IMDb page. Where else can people go? And hopefully when you guys get a distributor and get this movie out somewhere, where can people go to find that out? What's the best way to keep in touch with you? I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I would say Instagram is the best way to they can follow our page. It's All Is Fine in '89 movie. And people can find updates there. They can also follow us, Westona Official. That's our production company Instagram page. They can follow our personals if they like. And also, we have some articles as well online. We did some articles and stuff, and there's a lot of information about the making of the film and like some fun facts about me and Matt, and yeah.
Right now we're kind of in the early stages of promoting it, and kind of in a weird phase too, where we're past post-production but not at the distribution stage yet. So but yeah, I think Instagram's probably the best place to find us.
All right, yeah. And if you're following me and you want to figure out how to find these guys, I will post all that information shortly after this episode drops, and
Awesome.
It'll be easy to find them. Like I said, it's a great trailer, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the movie in its entirety.
Thank you.
Anything else coming? Like, what's next? Like, I know you're still trying to get this one out there for people to see it, but do you have anything in mind for like what's your next project?
We got 2 projects on the go now. The first thing is obviously getting this distributed. I think that's probably the first shoe to drop. And then we got one project, I don't want to give it away, and then another one that actually takes place 10 years later. And it's not a sequel, but I want to kind of tackle 1999 because that was an interesting year too, and kind of dive a little into the Y2K paranoia and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say that's probably the next one. And the only thing I would say about the other one is it's kind of a little bit of Scream and a little bit of reality TV. So we're working on that, and yeah, that's where we're at.
I can't wait till you do Everything Sucks in 2025. That's the movie I'm really looking forward
Well, it's
to.
funny, like culturally, like I was thinking of like, is there anything from 2000 to today? I feel like we just like we're all like stagnant for the last 20 years or so in terms of cultural
No, I
significance.
gotta disagree. I think, I mean, again, I'm a different era than all of you guys, but I think from 2012 and before was great. Everything after 2012 just went downhill.
I don't think we're going to disagree with you.
Like
I think
2012
we're like,
was a
yeah,
great.
you're bang on.
Yeah, because that was when YouTube was at its peak. That was when Instagram was obviously like, I mean, Instagram came out, I think 2010 or whatever it was, but still, like 2012 was when everything was kind of going rampant with like social media and like YouTube and, you know,
Facebook
Smosh
and all
was
that
big.
shit,
You
yeah.
had all these things. I don't know. It was just a good time. Maybe that was my childhood too, so I'm biased, but who knows?
There's also a theory, I forget the name, but there's actual like a scientific or there's a theory about every 30 years a nostalgia boom happens. So like we get nostalgic on stuff from 30 years ago, right? So we're kind of getting close to that 1999, late 90s kind of
Well,
nostalgia, right? So
and I think there's a line even in Dazed and Confused, the redhead,
Mhm.
the Giovanni Ribisi's sister in real life. She says something like the every other decade theory, that like she's like, well, the 50s clearly sucked, the 60s were rad, and the 70s sucked, so we know the 80s is going to be awesome. And it's just like, it kind of depends on what age you are when you hit it, kind of thing.
That's what it is. Yeah, I mean, it's different for everybody, and our movie kind of touches on that too. It's not, you know, the '80s were fun, and you know, it was a great time for a lot of people, but it was probably also a shitty time for a lot of people too, right? So, so
I
we
want
kind
to
of
ask
talk
you,
about.
there's a line in the trailer, and it's the student says it and the teacher says it, but when they're saying sweet, like,
Yeah.
oh, it's gonna be sweet. What is that from? Like, I didn't want to look it up.
You know, it's based on research. I remember, like, for the
Because I
dialogue.
remember saying it, but I can't remember why.
Yeah, we had a couple people in our cast, a couple people that grew up in that time period, bring it up too. But no, it came from research. Like even Adam says, I think he said "bitching" one of his
Totally
lines.
bitching. Yeah.
Yeah, but like more subtle. Like it was just kind of thrown in. Like we try not to kind of go too crazy with that stuff because then it comes off a little.
A little fake.
Yeah, a little fake, right? But
try hard, yeah.
Yeah, the sweet one, that's one of our favorites. I even have my little daughter, she's turning 4 soon, and she even repeats it all the time. So maybe it'll make a comeback. We'll see.
Alex, what's going on with you? Where can people find you?
You can find me on Letterboxd or Instagram or Blue Sky at the Alex Young. I'm also on PlayStation, if that's where you want to find me, under the same handle.
If you want to play a game with Alex, yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I don't play online games, but hey, we can watch movies together and chat about it. Jeff and I used to do that, and now he's too busy. You can also, obviously, this podcast, which you can find anywhere you get your podcasts. Subscribe, check us out, and of course, support your local rep cinema and video stores. I know the Review in April is doing a screening of Jackass, which is just, if you've never seen it theatrically, is a pretty good time. So go see that first movie in theaters. Other than that, Jeff, that's all I got.
All right. Well, this is the time of the show where Alex sends me an outro.
Sent.
Via text, and then I've got to read it.
So,
is there any notes here, Alex?
There are. I want you to give me your best Don LaFontaine. Like, do your best, like, trailer voice, like, you know.
Oh, okay,
man, give me your classic, shitty, like, 90s trailer.
I forgot his name for a second. I'm glad you clarified, because I was going to have to be like, who's Don LaFontaine? But I was, once you said, I was like,
trailer guy.
I know.
Voiceover guy. Yeah, he like quartered that market.
All right, let's see what I can do with this, Alex. Last year, the podcast took everything from... Not right, no?
I mean, it's probably the best you'll do.
Yeah, I don't know if that's in my wheelhouse. I don't know if that's...
That's fair. Just give it gravitas, Jeff.
Last year, the podcast took everything from him. His friends, his family, his time. But this summer, Jeff Penn is back and looking for... Oh, see, I thought it was going to be a fun 80s romp. I was going into...
No, this is a serious, hard-hitting action thriller, Jeffrey.
But this summer, Jeff Penn is back and looking for vengeance. Hard questions, harder abs. Starring Eric Roberts as Jeff Penn and reprising his role as the nefarious co-host, Alex Young. Deep Cuts 2, The Deepening. Because the first cut is the deepest. The second is also pretty deep too. Thanks very much, everyone. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, guys.